This bicycle was originally built in 1976 and was converted from its shopper configuration about 12 years ago. There is also a YouTube video titled Dawes Kingpin conversion video which covers this memorable event. The bike as you see it here has been in this hot rod configuration since 2005. Although it's performed admirably on club rides with full-size bikes and latterly for towing our trailer with which we do all our shopping, I cast around for a more permanent role for which its configuration would make it particularly suitable. I also have a small A-liner camper with which I visit various lakeside campgrounds during the summer, taking a kayak and also a bike which I use for touring around the adjacent countryside. Till now I've been using another conversion, a 12-speed 1987-ish Norco Monterey converted to 8 speeds using a Shimano Nexus internal hub. Although a very good bike out on the open road, for poking around rural areas or places of interest, something a little easier to load, something that's lighter, nimble and more compact is preferable. Bingo! This was the obvious role for the Kingpin. Accordingly, during the early part of 2012, it has been comprehensively refurbished and reconfigured to suit the proposed application. Considering that maintenance had been somewhat neglected of late, the bike was in remarkably good condition, except for the Campy Victory derailleur, which sadly I discovered had lost one of its teeth, as can be seen here on the upper pulley. It was a stroke of luck that my daughter Kate had recently purchased a Trek Madone and had little further use for her previous bike, a 12-speed Mini Looper. Therefore I took its entire gear cluster, Shimano 105 derailleur, and by using shims which I cut and slotted from an old seat tube, I was able to mount the shifter mechanism onto the door's stem. In return, I agreed to convert her Mini to fixed gear configuration. I was sorry to lose the Campy derailleur, but I still had the elegant crank and 52-tooth sprocket. The bike was completely overhauled with fresh grease, ball bearings, new cables, and fitted with new fatter Primo Comet 20x1 3/8 tyres and tubes. These were the only new purchases in the entire project. With increased air volume in the Comets and with an 85 psi maximum compared with 100 psi on the original IRC road lights, the ride is noticeably smoother. This has prompted 2 further changes. The soft Bond Raiders saddle has been replaced by a Honey Brooks B17 and a tool pouch, and at the front end the Pantor hub has been replaced by the original silver Alex hub laced to a polished silver sun rim. There's nothing wrong with the Pantor hub except that it's black and laced to a matte silver rim, so that the reason is mainly cosmetic, and the rims are now matching polished silver pair, which is much nicer. I also moved the pump water bottle cage from the seat tube up to the head tube to avoid kicking when I got on and off, and also as a bonus the water bottle is now more easily accessed. I have a couple of sets of these flat bars which I rather like. The other pair is fitted to a Rally 20. The rear hub is still the GPM unit fitted during the original conversion 12 years ago. I fitted some new brake pads, black Jaguars to the rear and yellow cool stops to the front. I may get round to matching them up later, but ones I use I currently had available and they're fairly good quality. The Weinmann brakes themselves have always been acceptable, and the new pads do give a slight improvement, and they're certainly way better than the Eltenbergers fitted to my Rally 20. Here's another look at the rear brake unit, and this is followed by a slow pan up the seat tubes, up to the seat post, a rather long seat post, to the Brooks hardware at the top. These are my favourite touring pedals, the Shimano M324 with an SPD cleat on one side and just a plain surface on the other. Just means if you want to go out on the bike you don't have to worry about putting on special shoes. Well, that's about all there is, except that to further add to the bike's utility, I have a clip-on rack which is readily fitted to the seat tube when required. This will hold all the essentials for the properly equipped bicycle tourist. There is ample room for your weed, and in the full spirit of loaded touring, a half bottle of scotch. If any room remains, a camera and or ride snacks can also be accommodated. Well, in conclusion, I have to say I really seem to hit the sweet spot this time. The finished bike is now more than the sum of its parts. It looks good and is a delight to ride. Although it pains me to admit it, the complete Shimano 105 setup functions much better than the Campinolo equipment ever did. So I look forward to the spring when the camper is unveiled and for the start of the camping season. In the meantime, weather permitting, the Kingpin will be getting plenty of use on a regular basis.